so excited today. Guys, we have a special guest. If you don't have your people on here, they're missing the call. You still have a second to go ahead and text your people, tell them get on. Lynn is on today. Good morning, Lynn. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Wade. I'm doing very well. It's a beautiful day in Virginia. How you doing?
Excellent. I was going to ask you, how's the farm in Virginia doing?
Well, every day is a beautiful day, right? We actually have overcast and cold, but hey, you know, the day is what we make it, right? So it's a beautiful day in Virginia.
That's right. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to be with you guys today. You know, I'm so grateful, you know, that you guys tolerate me month after month. I chase a bunch of rabbits, and sometimes I guess you wonder where I'm coming from, and hopefully I can always bring it forth to, you know, bring a message to you that resonates and helps you out so much, you know, and that's at least my desire. You're so faithful. I mean, I'm convicted often when I tune in, and people are just so faithful, you know, to their business and so willing to learn. And, you know, it's my pleasure to be on both sides of the call, but it's an honor to be on this side of the call. You know, we're also incredibly blessed to be part of this journey, and we're so blessed to have so many incredible calls and events that we can all plug into. Those of us that make it a practice to plug in and to tune in not only desire to see success, but we want to be the best version of us that we can possibly be, and we're willing to put in the time. There's no end to the work that we should all be putting in, right, to become the best version of us that we can be in every area of our lives, from our faith to our families, to our relationships, to our business. So we should continually strive to be the best that God intends for each one of us to be in every single area of our life. So again, we're so fortunate to have the opportunity to tap into motivation for our business every day of the week all across the globe. It's unbelievable. It's a reinforcement of our passion and an endless supply of examples of other people just like you and me who have developed an amazing Enagic business. And all those things are critical components to our success. You know, I shudder to think where I would be or wouldn't be without the ability to plug in like that. But one thing that I struggle with as I tune in and as I develop my own business is seeing so many people taking these steps. You know, they're diligent, they plug in, they tune in, you know, they have their why, but some are so lost when it comes to knowing just some practical steps that need to be taken to build a business of any kind. You see, no matter how much we work on ourselves, no matter how motivated we are, no matter how big that why is, there are still steps that we need to take to be successful. You know, I often laugh. I believe in being transparent. I think people learn from other people, you know, and I could write a book about this journey and all the things you shouldn't do, okay? I first came into this business, and I came in with an ego. You know, I'd been an accomplished businesswoman, and I thought I knew a better way to do everything. But you know what? Nothing was broken. I was trying to fix something that was working. And so I spun my wheels, I lost time, and frankly, I lost out on some success because of it. And then I got to a point of surrender. And I said, okay, I don't care what you tell me to do. I want this thing to work. Forget everything else in the past. Just tell me what I need to do. And well-meaning people, this is not criticism, okay, because the mindset of people familiar with our industry is sharpened. And somebody like myself coming in the first time in this industry, it wasn't. But the very simple things they told me were like, well, just, you know, kind of like go to the mall and hang out and try to talk to people. And I got to tell you something, guys. Yeah, no offense, ladies. I'd rather have my teeth pulled than go to a mall, okay? But they were telling me, you know, get out in public, basically. Well, I don't have a problem talking to people. I just didn't know what I was supposed to say to people, right? And then I was told well, the water does the heavy lifting. Just give away water. The more water you give away, the more success you'll see. But the bottom line is, I went off in that direction and really forgot everything I knew about what it took to be successful. You know, we're in the people business. There's no doubt about that. Without people, people, you know, could also be known as a market. We have nothing but a big dream that a lot of us never seem to fulfill, you know. So we've got to, you know, take a look at business and how do we do that. So today I'm going to focus on just one step that we should all be taking this morning, at least consider. It's food for thought for you, not marching orders to, or a hint to change what you're doing if what you're doing is already working for you. But I would venture to guess if we could open the lines up and ask everybody, are you where you really want to be? Most people would say no. So today's message is entitled, Target Your Market and Market to Your Target. You know, you may or may not have ever thought about it this way, before, but, there isn't a successful business or a successful entrepreneur on the planet that doesn't attempt to target their market, and then they market to the target. They don't go out half-cocked. They don't throw things against the wall hoping they'll stick, and neither should you or me. You all know that I was in the real estate auction business for a very long time. I facilitated the sale of literally thousands of properties from one end of this country to another and some outside the U.S. And I can tell you never, not once, did we spend hard-earned money and marketing money and go out like a shot in the dark hoping that somebody would just show up to buy. Every single time we asked ourselves, to the best of our ability, of course, who is the market on this one? And all of our efforts, all of our time, all of our advertising money was spent attempting to target to the market and to identify a solution to that targeted market. A whole lot of time and a whole lot of money can be spent fruitlessly if we don't understand that we really do have a market. No doubt most of us understand how television is rated, for instance. The Nielsen report comes out with that, but you may not really think about it too often. You just tune into TV and see a commercial. But not only do the networks know how many people tune in, they know the ages and the gender and the ethnic backgrounds of the ones tuning in. They even know your viewing habits. For instance, I recently read an article that 47% of the viewing audience between the ages of 18 and 45, they know will use a tablet or a smartphone during the program, and they know if and when you search for more information, for instance, on the show or in a commercial played during that show. They know that females generally search for something that was advertised, and know that males generally search for something, TV show related, like the actors or whatever, right? It's shocking, isn't it, to think that life is actually that intrusive. But anything less than that would be a shot in the dark for all the advertisers. Rest assured that the advertising it takes to support whatever program you're tuned in is targeted to the market. The only exception that you ever see in that is during the Super Bowl. You see, most of America tunes into the Super Bowl, and so they really can't work with demographics or geographics, and most of the advertisers, focus on brand advertising more than they do products or services. Another good example is soap operas. They earn that nickname because the focus on laundry and cleaning supplies and things like that was targeted at to the housewives. They were staying at home, and they were, taking care of the home, so they were targeted that way. They were marketing to the target. Today, we see more beauty products and diet programs, and we still see a little bit of advertisement for soap and on these shows, but it's all along the line of marketing or targeting to that market. We'll see, for instance, more conservative advertising during conservative programming, and we see some ads that probably should be banned during more liberal programming. If you're a late night person like I am, you'll see advertising for dating sites. Oh, wow. As we get closer to the holidays, you'll see more and more and more of them because they know the demographics of the people watching, and they know, what trigger to pull, right? You'll see advertisements, I know you know what I mean by this, for romance enhancers because they know the demographics of their audience tuning in at that time of day and into that programming. Commercials are targeted, and you won't see the same commercial doing the same program necessarily that I will. The commercials target demographics and geographics to a T. I did an auction commercial 1 million years ago. It was really funny. It's for a cell phone company that was eventually bought out by Sprint, and I was supposed to be a rancher's wife. It was just a crazy experience, a funny story I'll share with you some point. But this commercial only ran in a few states. It ran for 2 years. It was very successful, but it ran in California, it ran in Texas, it ran in Oklahoma, it ran in Florida, Alabama. It ran in those states. It never ran in my state at all. In fact, nobody in my world even saw the thing until Disney bought it out for one of those funniest commercial things. So it's really kind of funny. It's overwhelming to think about the complexity of target marketing. McDonald's is another good example. McDonald's has been brilliant as they target their audience over these years. The menu's cheap, the food's even cheaper in more ways than one, right? But what they target to is children. Rest assured, it's always been the kids. From the primary colors they used in the beginning, the yellows and the reds in their buildings, the arches, to the clown, everything that they did until they finally hit on the idea of a Happy Meal to include a popular figurine or toy or whatever that they knew kids were chasing. Rest assured, their market's children, and it's the children or our desire to please the children that keeps families flocking toward unhealthy food choices regardless of the consequences. The examples that I could share with you are endless, and you probably at this point are wondering, what in the world does any of this have to do with us? Well, it has a lot more to do with us than you might imagine if you want to develop a long-term and sustainable business. While it's true that everybody on the planet needs water, we hear that, who's your market? Everybody. Everybody needs water, right? Everybody on the planet needs water, and we have something for everybody in this threefold mission. There's no doubt about that. And it's true that we can't read minds and that we shouldn't discount anybody at first glance. It's still true that we need to learn to target our audience, and we need to direct our efforts there. After all, most America needs a car, right? Most people in America have a car, but you won't find Ford marketing to high-income buyers, and you won't find Jaguar advertising in a penny saver. Our efforts must be a little bit more fine-tuned than just a shot in the dark. I believe that it takes a little more attention to our market in order to find that market. Again, there's no doubt if you fine-tune your listening skills, you'll hear leaders share stories about marketing to a target that's quote-unquote perfect for our business. They may not even realize that they're target marketing, but that's exactly what they're doing. They have outlined in their minds, in their business, they have a profile, if you will, of the perfect person for the business, a business builder that we hear about. That perfect person for our business is based upon, the characteristics that it takes to build a business, the audience that they seek to find. They don't often take a shot in the dark, our leaders. They really don't. That doesn't mean they're dismissing people, don't get me wrong, but they aren't looking for every living, breathing person who drinks water. It's more fine-tuned than that. And even though every living, breathing person who drinks water is theoretically a prospect, these leaders work hard, but you don't see them spinning their wheels like so many of us are. You don't see them giving away gallons and gallons of water as part of some perpetual water share because they've identified their market and they're marketing to the target, and they're not easily distracted because of it. And while some may not even be aware that, again, they're targeting a market, undoubtedly that's exactly what they're doing, and that's a huge component to their success. So how are you targeting a market? You have to start by identifying who you think your market is or who you hope to impact. And again, it's got to be more fine-tuned than just saying, well, everybody. You might be so filled with compassion that all you want to do is go out and share water, and there's nothing wrong with that. You undoubtedly will make some sales. If you look statistically at the number of closed sales that you have, it's probably not as big as you'd like it to be. You undoubtedly are going to do that and chase that as a result. But what would it look like if you look beyond your belief that everybody on the planet needs water and you focus more on some characteristics or demographics or fine-tuning who your audience might be? For instance, one thing that I look at as I'm encountering people, not at the mall, by the way, but when I encounter people, I look at, are they open-minded? Some people are so closed-minded, you couldn't talk to them about a pair of shoes, right? They are so closed-minded. I don't know if they've been beaten up in life or they've just been hurt or they just don't trust people, whatever, but their mind is closed. And I can't tell you, in the early stages of just go to the mall and talk to people and give out water, how many closed-minded people I beat my head against the wall for. And I bet a few of you could relate to that. You have to look at, do they want an improved life? My goodness, how many people, it's very sad to see how many people, they really aren't interested in feeling better. I hate to put it that way, but some people are actually identifying with their illness. Some people are so needy, they like the attention they get from it. Some people are so brainwashed, they think minimum wage is the only way they'll ever live. Do they even want an improved life? Even when you talk to it, and a lot of people you'll find don't. So why would we chase those people? I certainly had my fair share of water share people, and these people, I've actually had people say, well, I'm really feeling great, but you know what, that's not a good idea because I'm on disability. I don't want to lose that. Those people don't want an improved life, so why would we beat our head against the wall? Do they think outside the box? like it or not, water may not be a big deal, but we are absolutely on a paradigm shift. You know, we're part of something magnificent to get people thinking in a different direction. You know, what they're doing not only isn't working, it's harmful to them, to the planet, to everything, right? So they have to be people that would actually be willing to think outside the box so we can get their attention. Do they overanalyze and have trouble trusting anything and anybody, anywhere, anytime? I mean, my goodness, I'm sure if I could see you now, some of you are rolling your eyes. You know, some people just, I don't know what their problem is, but they're determined to know more than you know, and they will analyze things to death. And you know what? Some people chase them and chase them and chase them and keep getting them information, and they never do a thing but continue to try to prove you wrong. Why would we spend our time with that? Do they understand value, and are they willing to pay for it? Let me tell you something. Value, understanding value and being willing to pay for it has absolutely nothing to do with how much money they have. You know, if you talk to people, we're in the middle of or coming into winter and it's cold, and if people had their furnace go out, you can rest assured they understand the value and they're going to find the money for it. Or if they had a transmission go out in their car and they need to get to work to make a living, you can rest assured they may think they're broke, but they're going to see the value and they're going to find the money to pay for it. And it's true here too. Time and time again, you know, we see people stretch and pull, and they'll sell things, they'll borrow money, they'll do whatever they have to do. Once they see the value, they're willing to pay for it. But they have to understand that part. You know, you don't need to see inside their checkbook to identify the market. You need to know your market instead. And once you take the time to think through and to plan out who your audience is beyond just everybody drinks water, you know, then you need to market to that audience, and you need to stop taking a shot in the dark. I want you to be sure, do not leave this call and do not perceive in your mind that I'm saying stop sharing water and don't try to reach the masses. That's not the message here today at all. We all know the saying, working smarter, not harder, and that's true for all of us. And again, I see so many people. I talked to somebody not too long ago that had shared water with 80 different families throughout the year and never made a sale. Now, that's not working. That's working harder, not smarter, right? It's true for so many people in what we do, because we look at the world and say everybody needs water, and we know that everybody needs one component of our mission at least, right? And that keeps us from focusing the way we really need to. But let me give you an example. Perhaps you have a passion to help autistic children. You know, in that case, you need to market to that audience, right? You need to understand what makes them tick. You need to study them, just the same way as all these, retailers or the TV, commercial folks, the way they study us, right? You need to understand what makes them tick. You need to know how to get their attention, and you need to share pertinent information with them that makes sense to them, and not bombard them with every brochure and every video imaginable. Target the market and market to the target. You know, markets are identified by successful people and successful businesses, and their marketing is targeted accordingly. You know, we kind of laugh about the early stages of this business when we hear people say, all we had were pH drops and a picture of a colon. And over and over and over again, we're hearing the leaders say, you're complicating everything, folks. You got to get back down to basics. Well, when you went out, with a picture of a colon, it was safe to assume that most people you were talking to had a colon, right? And it was very simple. You could show them visually what was possible for them. But, even though most people, on the planet, or at least in the U.S., need a car, and most people need a house, and most people drink water, we still need to fine-tune it. It isn't complicating your business to take some time to identify who your market is. The beauty of our business is that outside of looking for the right business builder with specific characteristics in mind when we do, there's no limit to what market we can focus on beyond that. The sky is the limit. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess it is now, I did a presentation to a veterinarian's office. We did like a lunch and learn kind of thing on their break, and the fruit of that meeting is going to be very, very good for my business. But I want you to know I didn't go into that meeting talking about how great Kangen water tastes or how their furry friends are going to like it. I identified their need, and I found a solution. Remember, that's the definition of selling, right? I've identified the need and found a solution. I talked specifically to my audience, and I refrained, it's hard, but I refrained from sharing things with my market that would have no relevance to them, at least not for now. And I think sometimes we forget that when we were first introduced to this this technology to this amazing company. We didn't know everything. I still remember getting my unit thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to push the wrong button, and I didn't even understand what all the buttons were for. It's a process is what I'm getting at. But then we go forward and talk to people, and we forget it was a process, and we blast them with all this stuff that just boggles their mind. They can't comprehend it because it's a process. I didn't go in there with countless examples of improved health after drinking Kangen water. I identified things that would make sense to their practice instead. I didn't go in with a DVD about the business. I didn't even talk to them about money in the business. I talked to them about saving money and the value of money, but I didn't try to recruit them. I didn't go in with a newspaper filled with alkaline water stories. You know, for me in that case, I went in with a copy of Organic Pet News and that I developed for my business because it's targeted marketing. It's a piece just for people who are passionate about pets. I identified my market. I targeted my efforts to that specific market. And you've got to get a little bit of an idea of what I'm talking about here and learn to refrain from sharing things that make no sense and to learn to fine-tune toward your audience. You know, I only shared what is pertinent to them, and because of it, I was very well received, and I will experience the fruit of my labor. Had I gone in with all my passion and just, you know, not able to shut up because everything is so profound that we experience, right? It wouldn't be reasonable for me to expect fruit from my labor. Target the market and market to the target. I encourage you to do your part to identify at least a market segment, you know, deeper than just everybody drinks water. Never forget that being in sales means that you identify a solution to a problem. So you could look at areas, for instance, like the autistic world or the pet world or any world, and be able to start being a master of that world so that you can work it, you can speak their language, and you can target to them. You can't begin to professionally present solutions if you have no idea what the market is or what the needs are. It's not enough to say the whole world needs water. It's just not enough. Target your market by carefully considering who and what it is. And once you have a firm understanding of what you're looking for in your business, then you can market to that target. No doubt, everybody needs what we have. Again, what we have is this mission is so profound. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that everybody I meet in my life either needs better finances, better health, or they need my faith. Okay, I know that plain and simple. But the same is true about sharing my faith. You know, I share with the world and I pray over the results, but I market to the target. The target that I know with certainty needs to know what I have, right? The world should be drinking water. The world should be drinking Kangen water. But we'll be a whole lot more productive and successful if we treat our business like a business and if we learn to identify the market the same way, frankly, that you're seeing leaders do. If you look at their success, it's not just that they're hardworking. It's not just that they're, you know, have a huge why. It's that they understand how to identify what they want in their business, right? Target the market and then market to the target. So I hope this all makes sense for you today and that you can see how successful people understand their market. Again, they don't just take a shot in the dark. And I know that, I was told that the water does the heavy lifting. There's no doubt the more people that we can get to experience what we have, the more the lights will go off. But you need to remember not to spin your wheels and don't spend time and money. Don't hand out the wrong marketing tools, to the wrong audience, right? And we've got to identify what the needs are and try to fill those needs. Occasionally, it's no doubt, as we water share, we go out and hang out at the mall or wherever you prospect, right? Occasionally, we're going to get surprised, and the market's going to come to us, a kind of market that, we never would have imagined had we not been willing to just get out and talk what we do, right? And we celebrate those victories every single time. We don't leave anybody behind on this amazing mission of ours, but we are in business, and we need to plan and work like we're in business. And one of the biggest components to success for any business is identifying their market, putting in their time and their energy to targeting that market. So target the market and then go market to the target. So I hope that you'll ponder this, it's fundamental business practice. As you sit back, maybe you'll think about some of the leaders and some of the calls that you plug into, and you'll hear them talk about, wow, I found a great business builder, he or she was this and this and this. They've identified what it is that they're looking for. It's not as simple as just the sky's the limit. They've learned to strategize their business and identify their market. And when you do, you will win. So I hope that you've learned a little bit about targeting the market. I'm probably going to have some questions out there about how we do that and where we do that. And so that's it for me. Target your market, market to the target.
Excellent, Lynn. All right, difference makers, if you have a question for Lynn, hit *2, raise your hand, take yourself off speaker, take yourself off mute so that you're ready. I love that. Water can float a boat or it can sink it, can't it?
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Absolutely. It is.
When we use water as all the heavy lifting, again, remember, it can also sink that boat too.
It's true. It's true. And it's sad for me. I see so many people, they're doing everything. The whys there, the passions there. They can't sleep at night. They're excited. They're giving away water. They're going through all the steps. And some of them get discouraged and leave. They just quit because they don't understand that there's some fundamental things beyond that they need to do to make it work for them.
Yep, that's so right. Well, we got a few hands up. You want to take some questions? Let's get to them real quick. Good morning,
Absolutely.
Miss Carol, how are you this morning?
Good morning.
I'm great. I'm fine. Oh, Lynn, my goodness, those were such good points that you gave. I wrote down 4 points. Identify their needs. It is a process. Fine-tune what is pertinent to your market, and identify a solution to their problems. I wrote those 4 points down. Thank you so much for that, because I'm definitely going to use this. I'm definitely going to study this, and I'm learning things I've never learned before on these calls, and I stay plugged in every morning. Even if I'm out and about, I put my headphones on my phone, and I listen, and I'm getting so much. I'm learning so much that I've never known before, so thank you so much.
Oh, that's so awesome. I'm so glad to hear it. Yeah, if you just come up with your list. Again, I gave you mine, that I look at, are they open-minded? My list won't be your list and your list won't be my list. But kind of look for, what you would be identified. What am I looking for? That doesn't mean you don't continue to share with the world, right? But you can't just sink the boat, as Wade said, just with water. You also have to go out and take the steps and try to figure out, what am I looking for? What need am I trying to fill? And then I have a solution. Are they open-minded? Do they even want to feel better and to live better? Can they think outside the box? Those kinds of things. Just continue to write those lists is what I'm saying. Figure out what you're looking for, and then fine-tune your efforts to that.
Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Carol. All right, let's go to Deborah. Good morning, Deborah. How are you this morning?
I'm great. Thank you. And Lynn, thank you so much for sharing this morning. You helped answer some of my frustrations on, what do you do? How do you strategically plan your market?
Well, I think that comes down to passion. I know, for instance, with me, I grew up in poverty. I don't want to see poverty. I have a heart for people that are struggling financially. And so I naturally migrate to those people. I want to fix that. Where a lot of people, I did have a physical improvement, by the way, but my biggest passion is helping those. You're usually going to have a passion about something, a natural instinct to be drawn to a certain segment. Again, it doesn't mean, don't anybody hang up here and say, I'm saying forget everybody else. That's not it. But when you get down to really targeting, it's usually going to be something that you're passionate about. The pet market is a huge one for lots of people because they love pets. And, they just have a passion for that. And again, if you have autism in your world, some people are going to be really driven to that. What we're doing to our kids, whether we face autism in our families or not, is criminal. And so you just have to kind of find what market you want to nurture and go after that market. We see it everywhere in our lives, by the way. I was thinking about when I was talking and thinking at the same time, believe it or not, I was thinking about, how we get people that go out and Google, right? They'll Google ionizers and they stumble on Life Ionizer or Ionizer, one of these other, knockoff things. And before you know it, guess what happens? They get pop-ups on their computer, don't they? Probably happened to you in the early stages. They're targeting because they know, ooh, here's somebody looking for ionization. We need to go after them. So you just learn to target whatever you're passionate about, whatever market you want to hit. And that, again, that doesn't mean stop your efforts everywhere else. But when you target something, you're going to see tremendous results.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That gives me more direction.
Good. I'm glad. You're welcome.
Great great question, Deborah. Thank you so much. Let's go to Desiree. Good morning, Desiree.
Good morning. Thank
Morning.
you, Lynn. That was so awesome. I was wondering, so are you targeting veterinarians since you live in the country or on a farm, or farmers? How are you approaching? And is it cold calling, or is it people that you've already built relationships with?
Well, I guess it's all the above. There's no doubt that, you go to a veterinarian's office. I have a strategy of my own. I use a newsletter. And, if you know any doctor's office or any, veterinarian office or whatever, they have reading materials sitting there, right, in the lobby. So if you can get something in there, that's a great plug for you. So I have a little plexiglass stand, and I've never been told no. They let me sit it in the waiting room, but I have some newsletters that they can take home, right? But, would you target pet owners? Well, if you had something to share with them, the Pets Love It, Vets Love It DVD, or, some sort of flyer, something pertinent to the pet. Because believe it or not, a lot of people in the pet world, their pets are like their family members. They believe they're their children, a lot of them, right? So they need to be specifically targeted. In other words, you can't say, wow, this person got rid of acid reflux. You can't talk to that because they want you to talk to that pet. And so you need to give them something that's going to let them know that you have a specific interest in helping their pet or whatever, that they're targeted to their pet. But there are tools out there, again, Pets Love It, Vets Love It. And we've got all kinds of things like the DVD that I just mentioned. You just got to be sure that you follow up. The whole key behind sharing something like that, like a DVD that's not, affordable to just hand out like raisins, you got to be sure you follow up. But I think you could probably make a living just going to veterinarian offices, no doubt about it. But again, when you go in, what are you talking about? I talked a lot about kennel cough, right? I talked a lot about bacteria. I talked a lot about, I gave them science on the hypochlorous acid, right? I talked a lot to those things. You don't necessarily go in and say, they're going to love drinking this water. That doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of people at this point. And so I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I'm just saying you can,
No,
be
you
armed
are.
and ready. Okay. Be armed and ready. When you see people who adore their pets, and you can strike up a conversation and just, talk about it a little bit, or you can be more fine-tuned and go to veterinarian offices. And by the way, a lot of businesses, I learned from real estate, welcome an environment called a lunch and learn kind of environment. Most of them are going to take lunch. And so, if you get a lunch and learn environment, it's, I provided the lunch. I did Panera box lunches for their staff, okay? But it's a very focused audience. They already have downtime. And it's a good idea instead of just saying, well, can I, have 20 minutes of your time? Sometimes it works well to do that. So it's just food for thought.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Deb. Excellent. All right, let's go to Jim. Hey, Jim, how are you this morning?
Doing all right. Yeah, it's just, all of this is great. I was going over the point she was making. Identify the need is one, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying, my pencil's taking off on me. Okay.
Identify the need, and then you fill it. So sales is all about, identifying a need and finding a solution. That's what we do. That's all we do.
Okay, and identify the market that you're passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Identify the solution. Identify what I'm looking for as far as I guess you'd call it a niche group or a specific
Well, just to give
group.
yourself a little bit more focus in one area. Again, it doesn't mean you stop doing what you're doing and you stop sharing water or anything else. But I'm just saying, if you want to build a sustainable business, if you look at any successful business, any successful entrepreneur, doesn't mean they don't talk to lots and lots of people, but they absolutely fine-tune some of their efforts. So, so try to, come up with something that you want to give a little bit more focus to. Sometimes we hop from one to that. I'm doing this. I'm going to talk to these people, and I'm going to do that. And we end up with really not doing anything, right? Because we really don't have something that we're going to focus on beyond everybody drinks water and everybody needs water. So every time you are inclined to think like that, again, I don't want to thwart your efforts, but just think about most people need a car, but we don't, Ford doesn't go after every market and Jaguar doesn't go after every market. Most people need a lot of things in life, but you've got to be able to target them somehow and then market to the target.
Okay, good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure does.
Okay,
excellent.
good.
Thank you so much, buddy. All right, let's go to Greg. Hey, good morning, Greg.
Hey, good morning. Hey, Lynn, this is awesome.
Morning. Thank you.
If it's okay, I want to, well, first of all, I was going to ask you if you could specifically tell us the Cliff Note version of this one particular vet, how you decided to target that vet and what you went through where you said you didn't really throw up all over them. You just wanted to kind of hone in on what was important to them. And then at the same time, I've got a pet, I can't say the word T, it starts with a T, but I've had a situation recently where I met a young lady who had a dog that was in dire need of some care, and I helped her out, and the results were amazing. So I'd like to be able to get that to you if that could help you out. I don't know if I would need to get your cell phone or your email, whatever's easier.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, well, I can give you both. I don't know what you're sending, if it's just a document or whatever, but my cell phone's 703-338-4922.
Okay.
Okay. And then my email is h2orevival@gmail.com.
Revival@gmail. Okay. And if you could just say specifically, hey, what made you decide, hey, this particular vet, and what approach did you take, and basically what? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, to be honest with you, this particular vet, this is going to back up and tell a story on myself. You know, I love pets? Yes. Are they like people to me? No. I don't have a dog. I'm babysitting a cat. That's where I am in my life. So I had developed this newsletter concept for my team, actually. I had 2 team members that love dogs more than people. And so we set out to, I went into one of the big chain pet stores, and now they won't let you do anything if you're in it for money, right? So it was summertime, and I said, would you mind if we set a table outside and offer the dogs some waters are coming in? We have a great newsletter the pet owners might want to subscribe to. And they said, are you selling something? I said, we're just going to offer water and have them sign up for the newsletter. So those 2 people on my team got like 69 leads that day. Okay, and people were so grateful that the dogs got water. What a nice thing to do. And we were talking about organic water, right? So kind of got their attention a little bit. So anyway, from that, I just started, my own antenna was up, and this one particular vet that I targeted, I could tell they were open-minded. They wanted an improved life for the pets. They absolutely think outside the box, because I was following them on Facebook, and I could see, that they were thinking outside the box, that they were very innovative in their practice. So that's why I chose them. I don't think it would be impossible to. I think it's possible to hit every single one of them. It's just that I saw that it was local, and my mind was on that. So I don't think you can go wrong targeting a vet if you're careful. And again, you can't. I had some friends before that were putting that. I think it's called the Alkaline News, like the newspaper that we have out there, and they were putting those in veterinary. Well, that's great. You might have somebody that reads it and gets an interest for themselves, but they're not likely to connect the dots. Hey, this will be good for my pet. They don't even think about it. And so we have to help them think just a little bit more. But I don't think you can go wrong, if you target that market. Pet groomers is another one, anything pet related, if that's a passion of yours. Jesus, sky's the limit. But I would try to get to the broader audience. My desire is that this veterinarian office will then start offering it. If you think about a lot of big veterinarian offices, they're already selling products, guys. They're selling organic food, organic treats. They're already selling things in their practice to better serve their clientele. So why not organic water being offered to the pet? So that's just my 2 cents on that. I don't think you can go wrong when you're talking about people's pets, and they'll pay out. I think it was $68 billion, something like that, spent on pets this past 2 years ago, 2015 stats. They're willing to pay for whatever their loved one needs.
Great. Hey, Lynn, spell your last name for me, please.
Gardner, Gardner.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Let's go to Dan. Hey, Dan, how are you this morning?
Very well, Wade. Thank you. Lynn, good to hear your voice. Always so relevant and succinct, and I appreciate you getting to the point. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
And here's a little side note. My holistic vet, I've approached her twice about Kangen water, and closed-minded both times, even though my furry child has basically, his life was saved because of the water when he walked in my door when he was 6 months old. She didn't even want to look at the story that I created for it. And I'm okay, next, fine. Here's the question I have for you, though, Lynn. As we are out there prospecting and fishing in the world, so to speak, even for our target market, sometimes we get deterred when we're in the mall or wherever we're at, and we have to put on that identify the need hat really quickly. I've learned that it can be done oftentimes in maybe less than 2 minutes, but you've got to be relevant with your question or questions, like 2 or 3 or 4. So what are some of those questions you use that maybe this is a whole nother subject for that matter and a whole nother talk next month, but what are some of the questions you use when you identify that need? Because there's an art and a skill and a science to identifying that need. It can usually be done in less than a couple of minutes, correct?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't know that you could identify just a couple of questions because it's not just a blanket conversation. But the hardest thing to remember in this whole journey is to put a muzzle on, okay? We need to ask questions that lead to the answers that we're waiting for. But we don't just get the first question, how are you doing today? Oh, gosh, I have aches and pains, and then go in for the kill. It doesn't work that way, because they need to believe that we care about them, right? We need to try to find out. I'll tell you kind of a funny story that's in my mind. I got this app on my phone. Guys, I can't even comprehend what happens with us, but a lot of us, come into this world and we drink a lot of water, and then somewhere we get lost. People stop drinking water. They just don't drink the same amount that they used to drink, and the wine, their symptoms are coming back, and it really comes down to, are you still consuming the amount of water you need to consume? And so anyway, I put an app on my phone as a reminder. It's a water app to remind you to drink water. And you put in your goals, and then you get these little, alarms, basically. And mine's set to sound like water, okay? So I'm in the store the other day, and a checkout line, and this thing goes off, and it just sounds like running water. And it struck up a conversation. This lady said, that sounds like water. And I said, oh, yeah. I pulled out my phone. I said, it's my app to remind me to drink water. And she said, do you need reminding to drink water? And I said, well, doesn't everybody? I'm not consuming the amount of water that I should be consuming, so I just need to be sure that I am. And she said, well, how much are you supposed to be consuming? One thing led to another, right? Something so simple. Now, I could have said, oh, yeah, it's my reminder. I'm going to drink Kangen water because Kangen water is the best water. I could have said, what about that water in your, basket? I didn't do that. I just struck up a friendly conversation. And frankly, I would be surprised if she doesn't buy a unit, right? And so it's just simple things. It's learning to listen more than you talk. And it's the hardest thing in life because we're so eager to try to get the answers, from the people so we know what need to fill, right? It's very, very difficult, but it's just learning to have that casual conversation.
Of course. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
You're welcome. You too. Bye-bye.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you. All right, let's go to our last caller of the day. It's going to be Faye. Good morning, Faye. How are you this morning?
Good morning. Lynn, is there any way I could get your newsletter, that one that you did for pets?
Yeah, are you on Facebook by any chance?
Yes.
Okay, I can post it up there so you can see it, and if you there'd be information there if you want to get it. But you can at least see what it looks like to see what we're talking to, and this is not a plug for you to buy a newsletter, so I don't want to, but you can take a look at it from there. You can also go to my website and take a look, and you can see that what I'm focusing on is wound care. We see that over and over with pets, and I had a pet that was one dog bit the other dog 3 times, and the 2 times they had to go to a surgery, have the wound irrigated, and it was like $1,000 each time. And then we used 2.5. So there's little helpful things, but you could take a look at that at the website as well, and that's frontporchmarketing.biz. So you can see an example of that. Frontporchmarketing.biz. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the whole point is talk to what's of interest to them. Do pets love Kangen water? You better believe it. We've all seen it. They'll flock to that stuff and drink it all down. But we need to target just a little bit more than they'll drink a lot of water. A lot of people don't see the need for themselves to drink water, so what do they care if their pet's drinking water, right? So we just have
when
to
you
talk
say
to
.biz, is it B-I-Z?
B-I-Z as in zebra.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Front Porch Marketing.
Just guys, give some thought to. We have some of the most amazing tools out there. It's unbelievable. But unfortunately, we have to give some thought to what we're sharing with people. Is it pertinent to their need? and we'll say, oh, wow, this is great, DVD, or we'll just give the business DVD to everybody because all we really want is business builders. It doesn't make any sense. So just pause for a minute and try to determine, of all the options we have, of all the information that's out there, right, what is the most pertinent to share. Don't waste your time and your money buying things and giving things away to the wrong thing to the right people and the right thing to the wrong people. Try to focus it a little bit more.
That's so good. Hey, Lynn, I got people asking, what's the name of the app?
Oh, what I download, there are lots of them, by the way. Mine's called Waterlogged. Waterlogged app. It is a free app. I bought the app, the upgrade of the app, and I think it was like $3 or $4 because the upgrade has no ads. But you can get it for free. And you just plug in there how much water, what your desire is, your goal for the day. But I'm going to tell you, I was kind of embarrassed to have this water going off everywhere, right? But I'm going to keep it on because what a great conversation it was. Do you need reminding to drink water? It's that big a deal to you? What a great opening. It just went right out of my hands, right? So, yeah, Waterlogged. But if you just want to Google and look, there were a million options. I just picked one. I didn't research them. I just picked one.
I used to have one on my other phone, and it used to do the same thing. All of a sudden,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will remind you. So, and, I think that's a reminder for all of us. I don't know what happens, but time and time again, I'll see people. Tamia was sharing. She was sick, I don't remember, sometime this year, and she ended up, went to the doctors, and they said, you're dehydrated. I mean, we get running in life, and we forget. We get past that early stage of being passionate about drinking enough water. We all need a reminder. Look, guys, be a product of the product. Drink the water, okay? We need to drink a lot of it. And so if you need an app or you just want that app as a prospecting tool, whatever you do, drink the water.
That is so good. Well, awesome, Lynn. We hit the top of the hour. Thank you so much for being here today. It's always our pleasure.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean that 100%. I always look forward to this day of the month to hang out with you, and I really enjoy your front porch marketing.
Well, I enjoy it. It's an honor, and you're always such a blessing to me. So thank you for having me. And for month after month, as I chase rabbits, thank you all for your patience and your tolerance. I hope I add something to your life.
Thank you so much. Sam, if you want to say anything before we close?
Great job as usual, Lynn. Listen, I ordered some of your pet newsletters. I'm having great success, but I don't believe the people on the call really understand. If you will, give them your site again, and this is a great 2-page article. It's very professionally done, got very key points that Lynn's talking about going over, and I'm having success with them. So give that out real quick, if you will, Lynn.
Okay, again, thank you, Sam. Again, the website is frontporchmarketing.biz, B-I-Z. And that you can see it's a front and back. It's one page front and back. And it's, you can personalize it with your information, whatever you want to do. But it will at least give you an idea. I so appreciate hearing from you, Sam, on that, because it really, the people who want to target that market are doing very well with that simple tool. It's very simple. But thank you for that, frontporchmarketing.biz.
Thank you, Lynn, for always being up front. You've never been accused of back porch marketing, and we appreciate you being upset about it.
That's right. Like it or not, right? I'm always up front. You're always going to hear it from me.
That's a good thing. So back to you, Wade.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Lynn, so much for being here. Guys, I also want to talk to you, remind you about the webinar that's coming up for the 22nd. And yesterday, I told you I'd get you the information, leadershipbizsolutions.com to register for the webinar. It's leadershipbizsolutions.com to register for the webinar. And, guys, we're going to be discussing again tomorrow. So thank you so much, Lynn, for all that you bring and all that you are, honey, to our business. I really, the front porch marketing, I'll be on there in just a little bit, taking a peek around. So we thank you so much. But we thank you so much for you just being Lynn and bringing so much to the call, and I mean that. Guys, I'm going to open it up for everybody to thank Lynn, and then we'll see you guys all on the call tomorrow.
Wow, thank you, Lynn. That was a great call. Very